Good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome to this next master class that we are putting on. We are excited for the special one because this is probably one of the most asked questions, the most asked topic I get from people on webinars or people schedule book a call with me to talk about how we get more stuff done. Like, Scott, you're everywhere. You must have this huge team of people that are doing all this work and helping you find deals and raising capital and helping you with their marketing and scrubbing lists and doing due diligence. And I always chuckle. I used to have five full-time employees on staff, two offices and a Regis office, which was like two mortgages in some cases out there. But I learned a few years back that was not the right way to do things. And everything that I'm doing, almost down to me breathing, eating breakfast, and wiping my own ass, could almost be outsourced in a lot of cases. And that's one of the things I think that really truly separates a lot of those successful entrepreneurs is they learn how to, as you've heard other folks talk about in the podcast, about to delegate, automate, or drop in a lot of cases. And you, to be successful in 2024 and beyond, as an entrepreneur, especially if you're working a full-time job, W-2 career in real estate aside, is you've got to learn not just to squeeze more time a day, but how to clone yourself. And today's masterclass on how to use, hire, and leverage virtual assistants is one of the things that will be very impactful for those that listen and take action. And I've got the folks that we love to recommend. We've been a very happy client with the folks over at REVA Global. We got Bob Lachance out there. You may have seen him, slinging a puck on the ice a few years back, but he's more known now as a awesome real estate investor. And then the right-hand man there that does a lot of the onboarding and the marketing and stuff like that for REVA Global themselves, Mr. Preston Strada. Both of you guys have been on the podcast. Both of you guys have been on Note Camp before. We love bringing you back because your guys and gals are the shit. And I mean that in a good way of getting stuff done. So welcome here to the masterclass, guys.
Well, Scott, thanks for having us. Obviously, we love coming on your show. It's entertaining every single time we come on. And, obviously, what's going on with the real estate market, and outsourcing is a huge thing, obviously, since COVID, right? And it's becoming a lot more prevalent, a lot easier for investors to embrace, which I think is a very, very positive thing. Preston and I talk about that all the time. We work with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of investors around the country, just talking about their business, how we could help them, some things to outsource. And that's one of the things we're going to cover today. Obviously, you've used us for many, many years, and we'll go over exactly what that looks like. Preston, like you said before, handles a lot of the upfront marketing. We have a podcast as well that's geared on the real estate side. That's called Pucks to Properties, but it's geared to, working with and interviewing ex-players, hockey players that got into real estate. So it's pretty cool. And the reason why I'm saying that is we have a team of VAs that actually cut up all of our content and post it everywhere. Like you said, you're everywhere. A lot of people say the same thing about us. Hey, Bob, Preston, you guys are actually everywhere. What do you do? And it's not the work that we do, to be honest with you, Scott. It's the work that our team does behind the scenes in our VAs. So, thanks for having us. Love it.
Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, it's definitely great these days. And especially as we were talking beforehand about deal flow and what numbers you were doing last year and what you're looking to do this year. And, with people watching this, whether investors or looking to be new investors, deal flow is always like the number one thing out there. And I know that I wouldn't be where I'm at by just relying on like one lead source, which a lot of investors do. They get used to maybe getting fed, spoon fed from one website or one fund or one source. But when those deals dry up, they're kind of sit there, well, there's no deals out there anymore. And the thing we always find is like, well, what are you doing to market? Well, I don't have time to market. Well, when you don't have time to do something, you're out of business. You know what I mean? And for those that are finding success in today's world, no matter what type of lead you're looking for, whether it's notes or wholesale deals or rentals or distressed stuff, you got to really market. And if you're working full time, then you've got to bring on a staff to really help you out. And it doesn't need to be a crazy aspect. But I know you guys you've done this before with presentations. I don't take away any of your guys' thunder though, too.
No, not at all. I mean, but you nailed it. We talk about this. We talked about this a little offline. If somebody, leads are everything in a business. It doesn't matter if you're the smartest person in the world, if you're an Elon Musk, if you're, anybody, Mark Cuban or whoever it is. Without leads in your business, you don't have a business. And that's what we always have to do, especially as real estate investors and business owners in any facet of any industry. if you don't have a lead generation, type of marketing system, you're going to be very, very challenged to make money. Let's go back to, last year when the funds started drying up. They stopped buying from a lot of investors, a lot of wholesalers. Many of my friends went under because they were a one-trick pony, right? And it's one of the things that we always have to do. You touched upon, if you're a buy and hold investor, if you're a note investor, you could also make money on the retail side. You can make money on the wholesale side. You can make money on the note side that feeds the buy and hold side. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do, but it starts with lead generation. So you're 1000% correct.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking there, when I got started 20 years ago, when I attended my first real estate seminar, it was a Ronald Grant Expo, and I would handle, run around those doing mortgage for them. I'd always talk to investors that I see going from like class to class to class. I'm like, oh, hey, how's that class? Oh, it was great. I said, you get into the market? Oh, yeah, I got some marketing now. I said, how about the leads? All the leads are coming in, but I don't have time to call them. I got to go to the next class. And that would always like, oh, you know what I mean? I'm like, there's things to do. You're spending all the money and time. You're trying to accomplish something. I think so many of us get bogged down the idea that we can be a jack of all trades, a one-trick pony when it comes trying to do everything. And there's just not enough hours in the day in the 21st century to get all the things that you got to get done there for you. So
yeah, the day of the solopreneur is probably behind us, I think, because there's too much stuff going on. I mean, there's too many things to do. You got social media that you have to be on. Unfortunately, many of us don't like it. Many of us do like it, but if you're on social media all day long, you don't have time to do the other stuff. So you have to outsource a lot of what we do to stay relevant in today's world.
Exactly. Well, I will let you guys, let's dive into the meat and potatoes of it and start sharing with those out there, because that's the biggest question I get is, like, who do we use, and do I have to go find somebody online? I know you guys can cover a lot of that in the slides you've got.
All right. You mind if I share my screen?
Share away, buddy.
All right, let me know if you see it, so we can.
I do like that pucks to profits. That's a catchy podcast.
Pucks to properties.
Oh, pucks to properties.
Yeah,
there we go.
But I do like pucks to profits. That's right. I like that.
Go by the URL and forward it.
It's funny though. We could change pucks to properties and open up to every athlete pucks to profits. That's a great idea. I love it. Scott's on his game today. All right. All right, let's just kick this off. And again, and I said this before, but Scott, thanks for having us. We really appreciate you allowing us to give back, obviously, to your members, your students, your et cetera, everyone who watches you. We love what you do on a daily basis, so we're huge fans of you as well. So thank you very much. What we're going to cover is what virtual assistants can do in your business. Many of you may be solopreneurs. Many of you may have existing businesses. Many of you may be looking to scale, looking to outsource. Everyone that listens to all these different podcasts are in a different place in your career. So myself, we're here to show you what we do in our office. And I'll show you the next slide. We're just going to go over a little bit about ourselves, but we're going to take 2 seconds to run down, because for me, I don't like talking about myself. I know Preston doesn't like talking about himself. We want to give content just to make sure that you can use it. And this is not like college. I'm not yucking on college. I went to college as well, but this is something that you'll be able to implement. Meaning college, you'll go through a class with no implementation, program or plan after you're done taking the class. We will give you an implementation plan. We'll show you exactly how we do it. It's going to be up to you to take it and run with it. So that's what we promise you guys and everyone listening to this. So if we did that, let us know. If we didn't, also let us know. No big deal. We're here to help. And Preston and I are going to interact off this because obviously we work well as a team. Preston's been, we've been together for on the business side for about a couple of years now, Preston, right? You've been with REVA?
Yeah. Yep. At least like 5 years now.
Wow.
Awesome. Wow. Time flies. Yeah. So it's so we're going to go back and forth and show you exactly what Preston handles in the business and how he uses VAs for REVA as well. And then I'm going to get in the real estate side and go over all the tasks and the systems and processes we use out of our office. And all of them are relevant today because this is what we're doing today. It's not what we're doing 20 years ago, like Scott, we talked about, right? It's today, right. Which is really important. All right, a little bit about REVA and myself. Started investing same time as Scott back in around 2004. This is 2022, we did 240 deals. 2023, we did 185 deals. The numbers dropped, interest rates went up. One thing we did notice, we changed things around and we tweaked our business. We did no longer care about how many deals. Sometimes you can get caught up and puffing your chest and, saying, hey, look how many deals I did. Well, you could do as much profit with less amount of deals by raising the average profit per deal. That's what we did. So just keep that in mind. Don't get caught up with how many deals you do. It looks pretty cool to do 240 deals. Trust me, but some of those deals were smaller deals, like $2,000, $3,000. And then 2023, our average deal was about $28,000. So you can do the numbers. It just kind of evens out. So just don't get caught up in that. That's only my recommendation. We have 7 acquisition individuals. That has changed. We have 5 right now. We're looking to add 2 more. Just to give you an outlook, this is my Perch Rock company. We have 2 dispo. We have 2 transaction coordinators, 2 dispos, 2 disposition individuals that sell our deals, just to give you context of it. 2 transaction coordinators. They manage the transactions. Once we get a property under contract and we have an end buyer, they manage the process. We also have 1 director of ops and 1 admin as well. So that's just a little bit of our in-house team in our office. We also have 19 virtual assistants. That has grown since this last time. We're at 22 right now. We use them all in different types of parts of our business through branding, which Preston will touch a lot upon, acquisition, disposition, transaction coordinating, and also accounting. We also added some for property management as well, which we have, a couple hundred clients that use our virtual assistant for property management. We'll cover that. It'll make sense. And also note investing as well. We have a couple of slides here, and which Scott, hopefully you could add to the note investing side as well. And REVA Global are at over 1,000 virtual assistants, both in the real estate space and the medical space. So just to give everyone a context of a little bit about us. So let's fast forward. Let's get rocking and rolling. Scott, you ready?
Let's do it, baby. Let's cook.
All right, Preston, ready to rock and roll here?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. We put this slide here, what your business will look like, because today it may not look like this. You may be doing every single part on this sheet or on the slide here. Or you may be looking at saying, well, I'm not doing branding. I'm not doing accounting. I'm not doing something here. So this will kind of give you a snapshot of what your business will look like. This could look like this in 5 years. It may not look like that today. So just keep in mind, a lot of stuff, what we do is you always have to look ahead on what you want your business to do so you can continually build on that. And I know Scott and Preston, we talk about that a lot. And I know you talk about that a lot on your podcast here. So first part, every business does need a certain amount of branding. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Branding is number 1. Second is marketing. We need to market to make sure that we drive in leads to our business. So branding, just a little context of it. Branding is throwing our face out there. We're posting stuff, our names out there, so people understand what we do and what types of individuals we're looking for to work with us. Marketing is going directly after them to drive in those leads for them to raise their hand and say, yep, Scott, Preston, I want to do business with you. Then that goes to your acquisition team. So now your acquisition team, it's really your sales team. Their job is to lock up those individuals into a client or a customer, right? Or if it's a bank you're looking to, get notes from, it could be a bank, etc. Disposition, this is where we make money. This is when we sell the deals. And a lot of times you could bounce back to different industries. Right now, I'm just going to probably bounce back between the note world and real estate world, if that's okay, Scott?
Sure.
With the individuals listening to this. Okay. Transaction coordinating, no matter what it is, you need someone to manage that deal to close so you do get paid. Very, very important. A lot of individuals, when I first started, I was doing all of these, just so you know. I started in 2004. My first deal was a rehab deal. And, at the beginning, when I first started my career, is I thought I was a rehabber and I was going to be a huge, big company. I did one rehab deal and then I flipped to short sales, started negotiating with banks. And since then we've done, 1,500 transactions. Then I switched back into a wholesaler and then back into a rehabber. So in this business, you could do a lot of different things. And if you start today, I promise you, you today is not going to be the same as you in 10 years and 15 years and 20 years. You may tweak what you do, and that's okay. I know, Scott, you're not the same individual or investor that you were when you first started, right?
No, exactly.
So, yeah, and we all change, which is 100% fine. That's the growth in what we do, and we're all steered towards different types of passions that bring us somewhere. Next one is accounting. We have to make sure our books are up to date. This is a huge challenge with a lot of investors. They forget to do the books, and by the end of the year, you're scrambling. It takes you 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes to finally dig out of what you should have been doing on a daily basis. Take it from me, I did it. Yep, Scott, you did. I know, Preston, you did it as well. We all made that mistake, so just keep that in mind. And finally, property management, which we will get to in a bit. Branding.
Can I touch base on that slide? If you go back just 1 second here to give folks that are the note investors out there, obviously branding, that goes in with the marketing aspect. And for us, the marketing side, finding deals is not only marketing on social media, but actually contacting asset managers, contacting sales folks at different hedge funds, or pulling lists, or contacting attendees at different conferences. That leads to getting tapes in on the acquisition, but it also tends to having their VAs do the due diligence and separating the deals from the duds, and then coming up with the exit strategies, doing some disposition and research on the borrowers. Is this going to be a potential reperformer or foreclosure aspect of that? Of course, deciding which way that goes is a transaction coordinating of negotiating with our servicing companies, the previous seller, the attorneys, obviously the books, like you said, and then the assets that we take back on a regular basis, or the ones that we hold on to. Obviously, there's management and coordinating with our private investors and money sources, making sure everybody's getting paid and taken care of as well too.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Very, very similar, right? Very similar, little tweaks. Love it.
Yep.
Okay. Preston, we'll let you, I want you to take this slide here and dig into it, because this is Preston. Preston's an expert in this field of it for a company. He does an incredible job for us. So Preston, let's take it away.
Yeah, I got this one. So branding, obviously very big for any business. Like Scott said, it does tie into marketing. So this is a lot of what we're doing and what my team, I've got a team of virtual assistants that I work with and that they're helping me manage for REVA Global and for other clients. So social media management, obviously that's very big. There's tons of social media platforms these days. Everybody's got to be on social media in some way or form to stay relevant, consistently posting. So I work with them to get them onboarded onto all of our accounts. They manage all the content. So that goes into content creation. And just consistently posting, just be able to consistently get our brand out there, our message, hopping into different groups, connecting with different people who engage with our website, fill out the forms, stuff like that. Graphic design and video editing, they handle a lot of that for me as well. So we've got them trained on a lot of the most popular graphic design platforms: Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, Canva. Canva's super easy to use, super popular, tons of free templates in there. So it's very quick to get them set up with that. And then video editing, we've got some new training on some professional video editing tools like Adobe Premiere Pro, but they can also do video editing inside Canva. So there's a lot of different tools they use to get all of this content out there. Podcast marketing, podcasts have been huge for us. Like we talked with before, we've been on Scott's podcast a couple of times, but they take all of the podcasts we're on, they're clipping it up, they're posting it everywhere: Instagram Reels, TikTok videos, blasting in emails. So it's a great way to get your brand out there, and it's driven a lot of leads back to our business. It's driven a lot more traffic to our website. So it's a perfect task for a virtual assistant to help manage with. So email marketing, like I said, they'll blast emails, and then even webinars. These slides you're looking at were created by my team of virtual assistants. So they're great at just building content like that, and it can really take your business a long way. So you got to be on social media in some way, shape, or form. I know Scott does a great job of branding. He's got the note camp, We Close Notes, Note Night America, looks great. And I know you got a team that helps you out with that, but I'm
not that smart. A team, other people create this stuff, and I gave them an idea, and they went out there and create stuff. But I love what you're saying here. The podcast market. One of the smartest things I did is with my podcast, I wanted to be on other people's podcasts. So I used a VA to go pull a list of real estate podcasts off of LinkedIn, go research the last 3 episodes and track them down and get me booked. And that's how I got on 350 other podcasts in the last 3 years alone without me having to do much at all.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I think we'll cover that in the next slide.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, yeah, what's interesting too is one of the things that and a lot of people are like, all right, well, I've never been on a podcast. I don't have a name. I don't have this. Guests like us need content. So have your VA go out and research, the top 50 real estate podcasts out there. I promise you connect with them, you reach out to them, they will have you on a podcast because they need content. And when you do that, then you have, let's say you go on their podcast for 30 minutes. You have potentially, you could break those up into 15-second clips. So 15 seconds, divided by, I don't know the numbers. That could be 50 plus videos, right? That you could literally, take 2, 3, 4 months to brand yourself. And then you do another, and then you do another as an example. So, and I know that's something that we do. That's something, Scott, that you do as well on that side of it. One, being a guest on somebody else, you don't have to have a podcast, right? You do not have to have a podcast, but reach out to other individuals that have a podcast. That is the easiest way to do it. If you're an investor too, take a camera, walk through a video or walk through a house, I should say. If you're doing a rehab, just start documenting what you do and start explaining it. That's all content and that's all branding. You send to your VA, you send it out there with all some of the tools that Preston just said. So all of those things can be done very, very simply. So don't think, hey, I'm not up to the level of a Scott Carson. I'm not up to a level of, someone else that you feel is at a higher level than you. Don't worry about that. Trust me, because the content that you will give, someone will learn something from. It might get them off the couch and into real estate. That's all somebody might need is a story from you. So I just want to add that, Scott. I don't know if I went off on a kind of a tangent, but I think that's important.
It's so important because it's like you're speaking on somebody's stage on a podcast, whether it's 10 listeners or 1,000 plus listeners. And we get so many people that reach out just because they heard me on somebody else's podcast talking about a deal. They can actually see that I actually can coherently put 5 words together in a sentence, and they're interested in what we do. And it becomes a great way to raise capital that way from that social proof.
Correct. And don't worry about messing up because no one even realizes when you do mess up, it's just an us problem. So that's just one thing I wanted to add to that. All right, let's go over podcast guessing and Preston, we could bounce, on top of it, we could bounce around on this side of it. But one of the things here, it definitely allows you to share your expertise with a targeted audience. Like we said, we do have our pucks to properties, soon to be changed to pucks to profits. I like that, pucks to profits. But we use all of these as social proof, right? And we do a lot of Facebook marketing as well. So Preston, let's just jump into some of the marketing things that we do, just to give everyone kind of an idea of what that looks like, because it's all backed by our VAs and having them do the work. So talk a little bit about that. I know we have our Facebook and we have Instagram. So talk a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, so we're doing tons of things on the marketing side. We have paid channels, we're doing Google ads and Facebook and Instagram ads. Been really good for us. On the organic side, we're doing podcasts like these, different webinars. We have affiliate relationships, email blasts are big for us, and then just a bunch of content creation. So posting content all over all the social media profiles. We're in a bunch of targeted groups that we're posting in as well. We're engaging with people there. Creating like lead downloads, lead magnets has been big for us, and then just a lot of follow-up as well. So we're trying to be kind of everywhere we can online and doing a little bit of everything, and it's worked out really well. And so there's a ton to be doing right now, ton of online content you could be providing, and kind of like they were just mentioning, we have some clients who they don't want to do podcasts all the time, so they'll sit down like every Monday, just record themselves for like 30 minutes, and then they send that over to the VA, and that week they have tons of content that they keep posting, keep recycling, repurposing, sharing around. So yeah, even if you're not trying to exactly get on podcasts, there's still a ton of video content. And video content, I was going to share in the next slide, has gone so much farther and I've noticed in our marketing than just static content these days. So I know Facebook since TikTok kind of came into the game with their reels, Instagram has really stepped up their side of things for that. So they're pushing reels much harder. We get probably like 10 times the reach on our video content and our reels than we're getting on some of the static content. So video content is huge right now. And so these platforms are just really pushing that. So having some kind of video content in your arsenal of marketing will be really powerful for you.
The great thing too, the thing you can also do is if you're scared to be on, like I was just talking to one of my students a few minutes ago, and she's like, oh, I got to be on video. I got to make sure my hair is done, my makeup's done. And I'm like, how many deals you did? She's, well, I got 30 cash flowing properties. Like, well, forget your face. Nobody wants to see your face. They want to see the property. You can have your VA pull the list of the property, give them the details. They can create the slides in Canva, and even, use some AI. I don't want to take away from that, but how to create some email blasts that go out to people, or just record it without your face on it and get it done. Keep it simple, stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and if you have 30 properties, it doesn't matter what you look like. That's credibility right there. If your hair's a little bit out of place, who cares? One of the things I wanted to highlight too, this does help, and I know, Scott, you touched upon this, especially in the note world. Raising money is huge, right? So we have to brand, because I know when I'm raising money in the real estate world, I've been in this business for a long time, but if they don't see me online, they're going to question whether I do business or not. And it's very, very important. Social proof. I mean, you know this, Scott. I could give you a handful of people that I know don't make any money that take pictures next to someone else's Porsche, post it online. Probably the same people I'm talking about. Post them online, but guess what? Social proof. People are throwing money at them. Whether it's right, wrong, and it works is my point. That's all I have to say. So I don't want to go, like I said, I don't want to go off on a tangent on that, but that does happen. But social proof is social proof, and you get some testimonials along with that, you'll be able to do well. Podcast marketing. Preston, you want to take this one?
Yep. So this is just an example of some of the clips we put out. We got Steve Trang there, our Pucks to Properties in the middle. So this is exactly what I do with our team of virtual assistants on the video editing side. For Pucks to Properties, for example, once we're done recording, I just take that raw file, I send it over to him. He actually does the whole podcast, uploading the podcast. So we use Spotify for that. So he's taking it from A to Z. He's uploading it, putting the episode description in there, the timestamps, tagging the hosts, emailing them the final link, and then actually syndicating it to Google, Apple, Spotify, all the podcast channels. And then on top of that, so he takes the whole podcast, he's taking it all the way to the end to get it uploaded online. And then he's going through our videos, he's chopping them up into good little segments. He's branding it with our logo, adding some text on top. The captions are huge these days. I'm sure everybody's seen videos similar to these with the captions popping up. But so he's taking all that, then he uploads it and schedules it for us consistently. So now we have every week we have consistent reels being uploaded, and we've gained tons of traction, especially for our podcast and just for REVA Global and our clients who are doing this. It's been really big. And like Bob mentioned, it builds credibility. It's a great thing to send to people you're interested in working with. And they can just get a feel for who you are and kind of what you do and your expertise in that.
Man, that sounds like a lot of work, Preston and Bob. I don't even know where to begin. I couldn't learn all that myself. How many times do you hear that?
A lot.
a ton. But this looks very professional. So if you have a logo, look how this looks. Even on the left one, it says REVA Global top on the left one. You got Pucks to Properties, right? So you have everything is branded here. And that last one, you change it to the bottom with your URL. Like all of this stuff works. And for me, when I look at this, I'm like, if it was, Scott, I see your stuff all over the place. For me, I'm like, yep, he's the top in his industry. He's the best of the best. Even if I just saw your video for one time, like the first time, you think, hey, guess what? That person's got his stuff together. He's got systems. He's got process, et cetera, et cetera. So the credibility right here on just this alone, what their VA can do, will make you a lot of money over the life of your career. So, and again, like Scott said, you don't have to do any of this. You do the video, send it off to your VA, boom, it's done. So very, very good point here. I know you covered all of this. Did we miss anything on this slide here? Think we're good?
Nope, I think we're good on this one.
Sweet. All right, social media marketing. This is so one of the things and one of the to-dos, like we talked about at the beginning, is creating like a content calendar. I know you have this, Scott, as well. We have this. We have our VA fill out a content calendar. What's going to go out when? If it's an article, if it's a video, if it's a quote of the week, if it's an image, it doesn't matter. All of this, again, is part of you. It's part of your branding. It's part of you being out there, right? People want to see, I don't know about you, but when I end up going through TikTok hell, or I don't go through TikTok hell, I go through Instagram, right? You keep scrolling, and all of a sudden, obviously they know exactly what you're looking at. So they put all of those ads in front of you. If you're looking for a virtual assistant, I guarantee you, if you look at us, we're going to be right in front of you on a daily basis. So go to Instagram, no, I'm just kidding, and search virtual assistant REVA Global. So we're in front of you every day. I'm just kidding, but that's going to happen to you guys, right? That's going to happen to each and every one of you. If somebody looks up whatever it is that you are promoting, if it's, your note business, they're going to look up note business and you're going to come up in their feed. Like, that is the power of this. They may come up over Scott, right? Because they went to look for you. Who knows? It's that incredible on how this stuff works. So anyway, social media marketing, again, consistently creating and posting content to our pages. This is a daily activity that we have to do, right? It's not once a week. It's not twice a week. It's a daily activity. It also maintains an active online presence for our business. Again, branding, look at us. A lot of us don't like this. I don't like this, right? I do these and I hand it off. I don't remember the last time, Scott, I've ever posted, I had my phone and posted a video of myself up to Facebook. I don't do that and I don't like it. I know I have to, and I probably could drive more business if I do it, but I personally don't like it. So for me, this is easy. Right? This is a lot easier.
Well,
Again,
that's the beautiful thing about being able to create the calendar and giving it, say, hey, I want a real estate quote of the week to go out and put my brand on it. And then suddenly your VA's got it created for you and it's posting through Buffer or Hootsuite or whatever service you use, or logging in as you and posting. I mean, we use a 30-30 marketing calendar with our students in a variety of things, posting articles or posting quotes or taking pictures of assets that you're working on and uploading it. Literally, what would take you an hour or two a day of creating and posting yourself is expedited by having a third-party source do it for you. It makes it look, and actually it looks a lot better than what I would do if I did it myself.
Me too. So again, it builds credibility and it expands the reach to connect with other individuals, right, beyond your local network, right, which is really, really important for all of us. All right, marketing. Now we're just going to get in the meat and potatoes. I know the next slide after this, we have tasks that we put in for note investing as well. So we'll let you, Scott, kind of head up that one. But on the marketing side for real estate, it's the same thing. You could touch upon it, but cold calling, texting, and we have slides for each one of these. So I don't want to, get too deep into this, but this is just a kind of a placeholder. PPC, pay-per-click, and then direct mail. Those are the main things that we are doing on a real estate side right now, and I'm going to show you what we use our VAs. Did you want to add anything here, Scott?
All good, man. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, let's go. All right. I just jumped over. Tasks for note investing. I'll read through this, and then I know because one of the last presentations, we just updated this. One of the last presentations we did, this was actually from you. So sourcing for self-directed IRA owners, access property appraiser, county websites, research all IRA owners for you. This is what all VAs can do for you. Compile lead info into a lead tracker. You could just use a Google Sheet and just have them add them in there. And then after that, you're going to have them skip trace for contact info. What that means, I know, Scott, you teach your students this. Is it going on? There's some paid for services, but there's also white pages or 4on1.com you could go to by putting their information. You can also do a reverse address check by putting their address in there and see what phone number pops in. And then you have your VA take that phone number, put it into that tracker, whether it's a CRM or a Google Sheet, whatever you guys use. And then you update that tracker. So what you're doing now is you're building your list of self-directed IRA owners in reference to this particular, and you could change self-directed IRAs to other things as well. Right, it's just the research behind it, because we look at a couple different tasks that our VAs do. Number one, you have to have the research component of building a list. That's called list building. And then after that, you have list scraping, right? Now you scrape those lists, and then you have to have contact outreach. So then the third step would be outreach to those individuals to bring them into your ecosphere of products line. If it's raising money, if it's buying, if it's whatever it looks like in reference to that side of it. So that's the bottom of it, contact and self-directed IRA, whether it's call, email, text, or direct mail to the lead. Did you want to touch upon this?
Oh, I'd love to. I'll give you a great example. Keith Holland is a client of mine out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Older guy, very established as an investor. And we sat down with him, and he's a client of you guys. And he had his VA pull a list of Equity Trust, Quest Trust, Mid-Atlantic, any self-directed IRA company in all the counties in Arkansas, okay? Trying to raise capital to take out a second lien on a hotel he bought from a hedge fund, okay? So he pulled the list. They went on LinkedIn, and where the first and last name was on, they found people on LinkedIn. They also did script traces to find phone numbers and the mailing addresses. And he sent out postcards. Well, guess what? He started raising capital. Investors started calling him with 50, 200, 100 at a time. But one letter got sent to an investor who had a Dallas address. The guy called him up, said, well, I'm not interested in 100. That's too small of an investment amount for me. You have anything bigger? And Keith's like, well, yeah, I got this hotel. It's a 3.5. That's something more my style. Well, the guy funded the whole deal coming from, and he asked Keith, how did you find my information? I'm usually pretty quiet. And Keith's like, well, you funded a property or lent money out of your IRA that my VA found. He's like, that's brilliant. So sure enough, that worked to close the deal, and you can buy a whole lot of properties off it. And Keith literally sent me a text message like, this shit actually works.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it, right?
Exactly. We did the same thing here. We had our VA pull the top 25 counties in Texas, because Texas is big, a little bit bigger, 240 plus counties. And out of the top 25 counties, we pulled over 2,000 leads from just Equity Trust and Quest, narrowed that down to 1,600 unique individuals, got rid of duplicates. And our VA was able to pull and find 450 email addresses, and then also 650 LinkedIn profiles from the names, and started the drip marketing campaign. I can't tell you how much private capital we've raised off of. It's been in the millions from doing that things, but I'd never have the time to do it if I try to do it all myself. And I might get 20 letters out or 50 letters out, stuff like that, if I did it after hours or working a full-time job. But the VA was able to get all this stuff done in a matter of just a few days in research, and get me rocking and rolling and starting email blasts and drip marketing campaigns on socials, which is cheaper than sending postcards in a lot of cases.
Love it. Yep. And that's a great way. You mentioned LinkedIn. That's a huge opportunity as well, as going to LinkedIn, because LinkedIn's a lot better than Facebook when it comes to looking for individuals of capital, because they're more business side. They're not posting pictures of their kids and what they had for dinner and all that kind of good stuff. They're there for business, which I love. Great point. More tasks for note investing, sourcing for banks, getting a list of banks, lending institution, gathering contact information for special asset managers, and then again, contacting the bank. It's kind of the same slide, but different, kind of a couple different tasks to it. Call or email specialists for non-performing notes, followed obviously the script that you provide there, Scott. And then social media management, building your content calendar, touch upon that, create post content consistently, join Facebook, LinkedIn groups to post and find leads. What did you want to add to this, Scott?
So I'll give you a great example. There's a couple people are always looking for deals in the note business, and you got to go direct. The more closer to the banks you are in the right departments. So one of the things that we do is research the big industry conferences, where there'll be 500 to 1,000 of the right departments and the right people going to. Well, some of these conferences will give away the company name and the job title, but won't give you the person or the person's name, which would be ideal if you get it. So what would I have our VA do? So we gave her a list. Here's 686 people who have attended, or companies and job titles that have attended this major event every year. They went out on LinkedIn, found people that matched up with that, found their LinkedIn URL, reached out. Hey, are you the right person? Are you selling notes at this time? What's the best number and phone number to contact, which obviously boosted our email list, but also led to them going out and finding the right persons. That's led to deal flow more than we can actually close on. But that's a beautiful problem to have in doing it, and finding it and working the scripts and saying exactly. So it looks like it's me talking to them because they're actually logged into my LinkedIn which adds credibility versus it looking like somebody else.
Mhm.
And so
Yep.
and I have to tell you a funny story. I was on the phone with a banker the other day who had this empty multifamily property in Missouri. And we got to talking, and he was like, "Oh, wait a second. I'm connected with you on LinkedIn. I learned something from the videos you post on LinkedIn about investing that I didn't even know. And I've been a banker for 20 years." I'm like thinking about, I go back to the post like, "Oh, the VA's uploaded that. Okay, great. Perfect."
I love it. Love it. And again, that's credibility right there, right? Obviously, I know you're in the business, and if a banker's going to be looking at this stuff, that's huge credibility right there. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, now we get to cold calling, and this is something that I did when I first started, in investing. It was back in 2004. I door knocked and I cold called. And obviously, in this business right now, no investing, you're not going to be door knocking anywhere unless it's a local, right? Unless it's local, right, to a credit union or a local bank, etc., smaller bank. But anyway, what we do is we have a team of virtual assistants making 400 to 600 calls per day. We have, I think, 10 on this team, 7 to 10 on this team. I got to check the exact number. But they call 400 to 600 cold calls per day per VA.
Wow.
Right. So we're looking at about 30,000 calls per week. And we do stuff. Yeah, we do stuff not only in our own market. We do Connecticut, Massachusetts. We do Florida, Georgia, Alabama, a bunch of other states in reference to that. But the reason why I'm putting this up here is cold calling is tiring. It's very, very tiring. This will beat you up. And this is why, outsourcing these tasks to a virtual assistant is very, very important. Not only that, we only have so much time in our day to cold call. So for instance, and I ran into this was a big problem for me. As I was door knocking, and then I would actually take that list that I door knocked from, I would have to go home, skip trace them, and then I would call till 7 p.m. Well, your family members aren't too happy when you're working this many hours, right? Of course, we love it because, this is what we do and it's our passion, but our family, our kids, they don't really like it too much. So I found out that some of these things need to be outsourced. Not only that, Scott, if I'm in your town and I plan on staying in the hotel and working, and you call and you say, "Hey, let's go golfing," as an example. Let's go on a boat. Let's go for a hike, whatever. I lose that opportunity to network with you because I need a cold call. And if I take that opportunity to network with you, guess what's not happening? Lead generation, calling is not happening. So it's a great task, again, to outsource to a virtual assistant. So it's done on a consistent basis. Our businesses are built on the word consistency. If we don't have consistency, we are going to struggle, because what I've also found is a lot of us, we start working on that first deal or even that 10th deal, and then we get so caught up in that one deal, we forget the market. And we're like, and then as soon as that deal is done, you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, well, that was a very good spread, or that was a very good deal, but what next? So this is a perfect example of the value of using a virtual assistant to do this particular task. VA could also, like you said, set appointments, right? For you, acquisition manager, change acquisition manager to us, right? So the VA is going to set appointments for us, and then acquisition manager gets deal locked up. So our job is to get the deals locked up. So for me personally, and this is just me, I know, Scott, some people may agree or disagree, but I use my virtual assistants to generate that lead, and it's up to me to turn that into money. I know, sometimes you hear someone on another podcast or something saying, "Oh, use a VA to run your business and close your deals." I've tried everything. And I found the best use is for them to set the appointment for the closer, right? The closer should be us, or you have someone in your office. Am I off base in your world, or
it's the same thing. I mean, I'll give you an example. I used to cold call bankers, and I would be lucky to get 100 phone calls in a day. Lucky to make a cold call to that. Usually it was around 50. But you're beat up, you're tired, you sound like I'm a FUD because your tongue is swollen, you know what I mean? But this is not only a great way, not only contacting banks, but it's like cold calling you're at your borrowers the first time around after you've closed on a portfolio, or calling expired listings. If you're looking for like subject to deals or FISBOs, and you're pulling a list of expired stuff, this is something that is highly important to do. Just getting out and seeing if they're open to maybe creative financing or still looking to sell. It saves you where you are dealing with the aspect of you're not wasting your time on that. I don't want to say dead wood lead, but dead leads to find the good leads that you can actually spend time on the phone and close them.
Yep, I agree 100%, 100%. So the same thing, cold calling, text messaging. So again, your virtual assistant will manage your entire text in cold calling platform. I'll show you a little slide, the next one, that actually walks you through exactly what we do and how we use them. It'll just, a lot of us are visual. I'm a very, very visual learner too as well. So we want to make sure we put the proper slides in for those of you who like visuals. 98% open rate, all depends on what it is. That'll vary a little bit, different markets. VA text call nurtures. Nurture is extremely important. This could also be follow-up. Nurture in our business is extremely important. That goes back to what we said about branding at the beginning, right? We could call, text, we got that number, we got that email, boom. Now we nurture, we stay in front of them. We also set appointments for you. So this is just a kind of an addition to our last slide. And this is a little bit how it looks like. So same thing, virtual assistant will assemble your list, right? There's some lists that can be bought, right? So there's some online services. I know you teach that, Scott. So some lists can be bought, but also many are compiled, which your virtual assistant can do for you. Then skip trace, whether it's an email, whether it's a phone number, whatever it is, that contact information for you, and then it uploads into a dialer for cold calling, a text platform for texting. A lot of what we do, what we use is Smarter Contact is an example of a text platform that works really well for us. And then the VA will then call and text those individuals and manage the conversations back and forth. And at that point, the VA will pick up the phone to really pre-screen that lead and send them over to you so you can lock it up. So here's just a little bit of a visual here for all of us that enjoy the visual learners like myself. Did you want to add anything here, Scott?
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better than you did. Yeah.
It's very simple when you look at this. And you could do this everyone on this training that listens to this, we could all do this ourselves 100%, but it all depends on what you want out of this. You want your time back and give this to someone else, and you just want to be on the phone locking deals. This is a great system for you. If you want to do it all, you 100,000% can do all of this yourself. But again, it gives you guys a visual here. Here's just some recent cold calling deal profits. Pretty good numbers here: 71,000 in Bridgeport, 32,000 in Waterbury, and 40,000 in New Britain. So not too bad. Recent text message deals, and this just came out of our office, just so you know. So all of these are hot off the press. I just want to let you guys see some social proof of what works, and I'm not just Preston here, and I are not just talking heads here and posting stuff that happened years and years and years ago. This is stuff that happens this week, last week, current. So, all right, direct mail campaigns. Again, this must be done consistently. I know, Scott, you promote this very, very heavily on consistency. For us, same thing. We send out our direct mail out every Monday. That's what we do, right, for our real estate company. And in different types of volume. If you have a budget, and I'm just making these numbers up, Scott, but if you have $1,000 marketing budget for direct mail, then do 250 on this Monday, next Monday, $250, 250, 250, and your VA can manage all this. You set it, forget it, make sure the mail goes out, paid for, boom, done. You don't have to do anything. And then your virtual assistant can also take those calls in as well. They can take those inbound calls, because I know many of you may be, again, working another job as well. You're doing this part-time, or you're extremely busy in your real estate investing business, note buying business, etc. There's a lot of stuff to do, as you can see in all of what we do with raising money, contacting banks, etc. Here's another task, again, to outsource. So we want to give you all of these ideas, and also These are are these some good implementation things to do, Scott, for your?
Hell yeah. And here's the biggest thing too. One of my mentors once told me, if you're doing like minimum wage activities, you're going to have a minimum wage balance in your bank account, right?
Yep.
If you got to learn to delegate and understand what your hour is worth, and anything really below what your hourly wage, what you want to be making, try to delegate that, get folks doing that, because then you really exponentially grow. And that's where you go from making 50K a year to making six figures, 100 grand and 200 grand is implementing these things and delegating to people that are experts at it, that get it done, and then also do it at a cheaper price than what you do, and a faster pace, so you're not wasting hours doing it.
Yeah. My buddy Gary would say, if you're doing $10 an hour tasks, you're gonna have a $10 an hour bank account. Yeah. So they probably got it from the same mentor.
Probably did.
That's great. But it is true. I mean, look, and to your point there, I don't know if you know about this, but I live in Connecticut, and minimum wage went up 69 cents. We're up to $15.69. I'm like, are you kidding me? I know Massachusetts is higher. I know California, there's other states too that continue to go up and up and up. So for us, I'll be honest, I can't get a college educated 4-year college degree and pay someone $15.69 for the quality that I need. Not going to get it. But over all of our virtual assistants have 4-year college degrees, and you don't pay $15.69, you pay a lot less. So that's the investment. So just keep in mind of your own state and what the quality of individuals are in your area. That's very, very, very important. Just, take note of that. Cool. All right. Our direct mail process, pretty much the same. Again, virtual assistant creates the list, or obviously use your resources that Scott gives you to get that list, format the list, upload it to your direct mail provider, and then your direct mail provider launches, obviously, the campaigns, and then your VA, your virtual assistant, can answer those phones and then set your appointments. They follow the same exact scripts that Scott gives you, and then they set appointments for you. So very, very simple on the raising money side, on the, connecting with banks, et cetera, et cetera. So this, again, is a very good visual. Is there anything you want to add here?
No, I totally agree. You covered it all. It's all about following that system and sticking to it and following up and doing that stuff. Cool. So that like I said, you're only dealing with when you need to get in and close, because everybody else is taking the time to cut out the stuff that's not going to be worth your time.
Yep. And on one of the next slides, we're going to just talk a little bit about following up, because that is the gold in what we do. Yep. So here's just some recent direct mail deals. Again, Enfield, Connecticut, there's a $10,994, another profit in Southington for 16, and Winstead for 21. So not bad little deals on our direct mail. So we talked about follow-up specialists. In any business, you need to 100% be a relentless follow-up individual. And again, this is just like cold calling. This is tiring. This takes time. And we in our office use follow-up specialists, virtual assistants to do all of this for us. So we don't have to, pay somebody $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year in Connecticut to do this. We could pay a virtual assistant. And again, just some stats, average of 85% plus of our deals right now today close through follow-up. Very rarely do you get a one-call close. I wish every deal was a one-call close, but I don't know if you're seeing one-call closes much, Scott, but it is. I don't know if your numbers may be higher at 85, maybe 90% plus deals.
Well, that's what we say is at least half our deals come from the follow-up 90 days afterwards. With sellers, to see if stuff that we got outbid on, if they closed or didn't close, and that's where we get the best stuff. It's also following up with hedge funds and asset managers every month and every quarter. What do they have? They didn't have anything last month, but they got something this month, and so that's part of the process. You got to expect that. I mean, like you say, takes an average of 7 to 12 touches to convert a lead. I totally believe that. It's just a matter of when you understand that and building that in your system. So many people, we want, one email, one phone call, we got closed, we're making money. It ain't that way. It's literally the follow-up aspect that makes money.
Yeah, and some of you may be listening and looking at this slide saying follow-up, and your energy is seeping out of your body. Because for me personally, I know on the real estate side, man, my energy just seeps up because like, follow up. Now I need to create a system. I need to call. I need to email. I need to text. I know I need to do it every 21 days. I know I need to do it every 14 days, every 7 days. Well, now I started with 50 contacts. Now I have 100. Now I have 150. Now I have 200. So who's going to do all of this follow up? You know, when you start getting 1,000 contacts, etc., it's going to be very difficult to manage, but a virtual assistant can handle all for you. So it's really, really important for you to really know that. And if you're the type of person who your energy gets sapped at doing this stuff, again, that is a perfect indication of what to offset to somebody else, like a virtual assistant, like we talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
Follow-up specialist tasks here: nurturing and audit leads throughout the entire process, manage and update the CRM. You got call back any missed or abandoned calls, call back old dead leads and system, and help keep obviously us on this call, business owners, anybody organized and out of admin tasks. Admin tasks will be very difficult. That is a time suck and an energy suck, especially if you love closing deals. Admin stuff will sap you. It's just one of those things. All right, here's just a nice little visual for you too. And Scott, you could add to this. Yours may be a little different. I'm sure you guys, because you just said 90 days, so I'm sure yours is just a little different. For us in the real estate world, this is what we do. Cold leads, that's someone who's just, kind of scraping around, being like, yeah, I might sell. We follow up with a call, email, or text every 21 days. A warm lead says, yes, I definitely need to sell. I just don't know when I'm going to sell. Someone who's got a pulse that just, they're going to sell, but you have to stay in front of them. We give them a call, email, and text every 14 days. And the hot ones are, yup, I got to do something. I got to get out. Every 7 days, we call, email, and text. So how about you in your in the note world?
Well, this would be the same thing when we were buying notes and following up with the borrowers. Hey, where are you at? Are you getting ready to modify? Because we get beyond 30 days, we're not getting any responses. Then we move into kind of the foreclosure process or start that process. But This is exact the same process with our subject to leads or our other listings that we get on expires and stuff like that. Very, very similar process.
Love it. Love it. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, now we're going to jump into PPC and PPL. This is pay-per-click, pay-per-lead. Lead comes in, same thing. Your VA reaches out to motivated leads, and then the VA scores that lead. We score all of our leads that come in. Pay-per-click, there's a lot of pay-per-click companies out there that you can use. The pay-per-click, I don't know how this works, more in your world, but pay-per-lead, obviously, that'd be pay-per-leads, a lot of Facebook leads and things like that come in. There's a lot of following up that happens with these. Maybe they're not ready today, but they may be ready, next week, the week after, et cetera, a month, a year later, et cetera. So that's just a little bit about, again, what we do in our office and what our VA does to handle that side of it. All right, acquisition now. Follow-up specialist is trained to nurture and audit leads all the way throughout the process. So again, a different visual here. They call all old dead leads. They hand any warm leads off to you, to me, to Preston, to any of us business owners. They also keep us organized and out of the admin stuff, calling back missed calls. Again, we also have our virtual assistants listen to incoming calls to audit and pull notes. They also manage our CM, and they follow up with all leads until they are dead. So again, you remember the slide we just gave you guys at the beginning of acquisition. Now we're going to disposition. So this is the sale of it. And if you wanted to add something to this, obviously from the note world, Scott, I'll just let you take it after we're done with this. So our disposition, our VAs create our property flyers. So as soon as we have a property under contract, they're going to create a property flyer. We're also going to send them out to our database, all of the individuals. So they're going to be marketing that property. They also manage documents. They input data. Data input obviously is big in all of our businesses. They manage communication as well throughout the process. They input MLS input. For us, we use MLS to sell our deals. So just to give you a little task that we do to outsource to them, they maintain lead database and again, coordinating transactions. Did you want to add anything to this, Scott?
Very similar. I mean, so if same thing, we get a deal on, we create a note flyer, we share that with our database of buyers or funding sources to raise capital. The managing the documents is like the ordering the BPO, the O&E from our vendors for the due diligence aspect, pulling taxes, putting that information into the spreadsheet so we can review that. And then, of course, tracking those documents as they're being brought in or ordered, making sure we have everything for due diligence on our checklists. And then once it's that point, then we go to buying it. And then it's also maintaining, like you said, maintain lead database. Well, where do we get that from? And how do we follow up when we get more deals? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or also checking the county records for any other stuff that they might have available. Like if it's a rental property where the borrower is not paying, well, what else do they have on their portfolio to use that as a bargaining chip when they are not paying, to negotiate with them how to get back and on track. And then, of course, closing, working with the IRA investors, working with our funding sources and the sellers, making sure the contract and paperwork is all good. So when funding takes place, we're off for rock and rolling. And then uploading that information into our CRM and file sharing service so that the investors constantly kept abreast of what's going on and updates and stuff like that on a monthly basis going forward too.
Love it. Love it. Yep. And transaction coordinating, just like you said, a lot of what you just said goes here for us, collecting deposits, making sure that deposits are collected, creating the CMA, which is the valuation like you talked about, preparing listing packets, coordinating with title companies, monitoring closing activities, creating offers, and creating updating contracts. So just to give everyone just an overview of what that looks like in our world, and it's very, very similar to all of it. It's real estate. Let's call it what it is. It's real estate. So
yep.
A lot of the same stuff that we do. Accounting, accounts payable, accounts receivable, data entry, invoicing, bookkeeping. There's a lot of other tasks that you could probably add underneath this, but just for the sake of time and the sake of all this training, we'll just keep it very, very similar, or very simple, I should say. Let's keep rolling. Let's look at property management, because I know a lot of properties, you're talking about a hotel, right? You're talking about multifamily properties, you're talking about other assets. There's a lot of benefits to remote property management. It's getting a lot more commonplace in our market today to have remote property management, because, for those of you who actually buy and hold, like I said, one of your students own 30 properties, right? So she's listening to this. She's going to take this and say, you know what? All right, this starts to make sense, because my phone's blown up every second of the day with a tenant asking, hey, how do I fix my leaking faucet? My fireplace doesn't work. How come, I got locked out of my house, blah, 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 blah. I mean, literally, my toilet is backed up. There's so many different things that you get calls on a daily basis. If you have one property, that's one headache. And if you have 30 properties, it's probably 90 potential headaches there. And and Scott, I'm in a cold weather area and it just snowed out. And it's icy. So think about this. If you have one property, you got to maybe shovel one driveway or whatever you have to shovel, right? Or you have to throw down salt to make sure someone doesn't slip and fall. If you have two, double the work. You get my point. 30, it's very, very challenging. You have someone else manage it, where the VA now is managing to make sure someone gets out to that property at a certain time. Again, these are things just so you don't have to do it. Peace of mind as well, and also allows you to do other tasks. So anyway, benefits. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, we had freezing weather here in Austin, Texas, too. It got down to the teens a couple nights, and I'm walking around the neighborhood, and I'm seeing water the next day when it warms up, water running out of the garage. Never a good sign with water running out of the garage from broken pipes in the garage. And those folks, they're not from here. They're originally from California or some other warm environment. Oh, I got to drip the faucet, or I got to cover my aspect. I'm like, oh, if your property manager, would reach out to them, or somebody would reach out to them, hey, make sure to run their faucet, because they were both renters, I saw. Hey, make sure you cover it. This is what you got to do living in Texas now, that awareness to reach out to them, but also being able to call a plumber and get somebody out there, a vendor out there to help protect that, to fix it without having to engage that phone call. Because So it was still the holidays. People are out traveling, having a good time. Last thing you want to do when you're on a vacation somewhere is try to coordinate with a plumber in a busy time of the year.
Yep. Yes. Freeze damage is not fun because now they have to knock, you have to knock open walls. You got to fix the plumbing. And, that's very commonplace here. Probably not as common in Texas, but that's why it's really, really important to have someone stay on this, because that's something that I wouldn't think of being, if I have, 100 units in Texas, that's one thing I wouldn't think of. But, if you have a property manager that handles that, a virtual assistant that's on it like that, then that's taken care of. So anyway, just to keep going, frees up your time to focus on acquiring properties, say goodbye to high property management fees with a dedicated team member. Also, it gives us ability to scale. It also eliminates stress, like we talked about, overwhelm and tenant drama. There's nothing like an energy suck in dealing with tenant drama. All right, let's keep rolling on this. Property management. Also, we do training without getting too much into this, but we train our virtual assistants in most common property management tasks, so they'll know a lot what to do for you. They'll already come trained for you. They experience with most popular property management softwares, 100% dedicated again to your business, and then you work with the same person every single day. Again, just some of the benefits. And then I know we're going to get to on 100 task list after these slides as well, but property management tasks, again, filling vacancies, just to give everyone a visual. Lease renewals, you have rent collection, you have customer service, you have scheduling showings, maintenance requests, accounts payable, receivable, managing listings, move in, move outs, processing applications, coordinating repairs, tenant inquiries is a big one, bookkeeping another one, billing and invoicing. So that's just an overview of that, and just a little bit of now we get to the end. We have a real estate pros that we serve. We got investors, landlords, obviously note buyers. We got creative financing. We got no investors. We got lenders. You have wholesalers, property managers, short-term rentals, multifamily investors, commercial real estate, brokers. I couldn't fit everyone on this. Renovators, rehabbers, builders, agents, content creators. Like I said, we also have a medical division that does insurance verifications, prior authorizations, etc. on that side of it. So we don't just stick within the real estate realm. Professionals we do outside because it's the same concept. We have a huge company that does roofing. They're not necessarily in real estate, but it is part of real estate, but they have a roofing company. We have another flooring company that has about 10 virtual assistants as well that does a lot of invoicing and billing, et cetera, et cetera. So just thinking out of the box, there's so many things that a virtual assistant can do for you. So
well,
Preston,
I have to share something with you. I've got one of my students who's a note investor. She works for a Christian media group. All right. So she's in charge of like newsletters and figuring out. So she hired a VA originally to help her out with her real estate stuff because she was working 40 plus hours a week. Well, she got so well good, she actually brought her in and is paying her 10 hours a week to help with her 9-to-5 job to get more time so she can free up to do more real estate stuff at the same time.
That's right. That's right. Exactly right. Preston, you want to take this part as we wind it down?
Yeah, so these are the free tools we're talking about. Our 100 task lists on the left. It's a free download. And then we also have the real estate lead generation blueprint. Kind of walks you through everything we're doing for generating leads with our virtual assistants, what the processes look like, any of the tools and systems you need to get set up. But yeah, if you want to go to the next slide, we do have on Scott's link as well. You can get the download for the 100 tasks right there. So revaglobal.com/notes, or hit that QR code and you can just download that. I think we'll open it up and kind of walk through a little bit of it in just a minute. But yeah, it's a great little checklist. Really kind of put down everything in your business that you'd like to start handing off to a virtual assistant. And yeah, we'll take that. You can bring that to a strategy session, give that to our team, and it'll just be a great outline for where to get started.
Cool.
I know one of the questions.
Yeah, like we said, I know. Okay.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I said, just like I said earlier, and we've talked a lot about this stuff. It's very important. And Scott, you've been with us for a long time, and any of the tasks that can be outsourced that give you your time back, you definitely have to look at those because they're really, really important. because we're in a world right now, for some reason, we're busier than ever, right? There's stuff that's coming at us left and right. So definitely look at it. If you have any questions at all, reach out to our team. Again, like we've been working with Scott for years upon years now. I've known Scott for probably 10 years now.
Yeah.
We've known each other for a long time.
Known each other since you were doing all the short sale negotiation back in the day.
Yep,
that goes back for quite a while, is when we first met. And yeah, known each other for a while out there. And Preston, you and I known each other for a while there since you've been working there and helping us coordinate and coordinate our staff. I know that a lot of folks, we talk about all these tasks that replace their stuff, and then the cost of hiring minimum wage going up across the country to get somebody decent. It isn't like here in Austin, it's not getting somebody decent at $20 an hour. It's gonna be like 25. Otherwise, they can go work at flip burgers for $20 an hour, $15 an hour in some cases. What are we looking at as far as cost wise for folks? And do they have to have somebody that's a 40-hour a week employee or a person? Can you go touch base on that, or are you going to touch on that a little bit later?
No, we can touch on it now. It's a great question. We're very standard. We do $10.06 an hour. That's today, right? Because obviously we know wages go up. If they go up here, they go up all over the world. So right now, the investment is $10.60 an hour, and we only offer part-time 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week. And the reason why, I'll just explain that because I get that question a lot. Preston and I get that question a lot, is because we've tried the 10-hour, we've tried the, I just pay per hour, and it doesn't work out well because the expectations, the management, if you find, and a lot of people do this, they'll go out to Upwork and they're like, well, I got someone for $10 or I got someone for 10 hours a week. Well, guess what? Do you know how many other jobs they have? So your priority in your business is not up there. And they're always looking to jump to find another job. So be very careful of what you look for and what you get. But you can definitely do it. Like I said, we're very transparent on everything. So if you have any questions about that, Preston and myself are very open in what that looks like. But very simple: 20 hours, 40 hours, $10.06 an hour.
But it's the beautiful thing too, is you mentioned something earlier on, I think people may have missed out on, is that you're hiring college educated folks, VAs that are coming in and working for you. What part of the world are that? Are they great at English speaking? Because I know some folks were, do they have a heavy accent? I got some guy from Ukraine. I can barely understand his Russian accent. Can't tell if he's drinking vodka half the time. You guys do a much better job of what do you call it? Resourcing. Yeah, exactly. Screening, as I was going to say. Yep. And, and you have such a great follow-up aspect of quality assurance to make sure that we're taking care of it. We're getting what we want. Mm-hmm. Can you guys touch base on that a little bit and share your strategies and procedures for that too? Because I think that's one of the great things that separates you guys from the rest of the pack out there.
Yep. Yeah, we put a lot of resources back into our company. I know you do too, Scott, on that side of it. I think it's really important on that side of it. But all of our virtual assistants are in the Philippines. So every one of them. So we have a recruiting sourcing team, and I'll just walk you through the process so it makes sense. We have a recruiting sourcing team in the Philippines. And then we have a training team, and then I have a placements team, and then our operations team. So what happens is we send out a bunch of, we're marketing, whether it's billboards, whether it's all type of marketing in the Philippines to bring in applicants. Now we go through, I don't know exactly how many, but probably thousands of applications per month that goes to our recruiting team and our sourcing team, and they go through every single one of them. They call all the virtual assistants that are interested in working for us, and they put them through a test. We have a scorecard that they have to pass. And then if they pass, we only have about a 5% pass rate that people come in. And it's very important that we do that, because I know when I first started this business and I got my first virtual assistant on Upwork, I had to go through at least 100 applications and resumes myself. And I had to pick up the phone and interview every single one of the ones that actually went through and got to the end. And it took me, I don't know how many hours, but a lot of hours. And I said to myself, I know there's another way to do this. There's got to be another answer. There's got to be something else to this. And obviously, this is what we created here at REVA Global, is a way to go out and get those applications, pre-screen them. And that's not only it. Once they pass through that pre-screen, make sure obviously their internet's up to speed, they have the English proficiency, et cetera, they go to train for 3 weeks to a month. And then once they pass that, because there's testing too, they have to pass tests. Once they pass those tests, now they're okay to be endorsed to a client. That goes to our placements team, and then they're matched up to the qualities. We do predictive index and disc profiling. So they match up with the best quality to the tasks that, us investors want. So they go through a rigorous, all these steps to get to working for us. And I think it's really, really important because it's really a vetting out process for each of us so we get the highest quality of a virtual assistant.
Well, and it's also great because you make it easy for us to hire them, because once we, book a call with you, you're going to pick our brains of what we want to put them to work to do, some of the tasks to fill at 20 to 40 hours, stuff like that. And then you go out and you pull from your list of folks that are available who have passed this rigorous test and quality assurance and stuff like that. And then all we got to do is schedule, what is it, about an hour call, 30-minute call a lot of times to kind of talk with those applicants. If we're not happy, you find somebody else for us. But literally going through it makes it so much easier. And instead, like you said, I got a phone call, I got to schedule interviews with these people individually. No, I can block out an hour that works best for my schedule to talk with these and make sure they're a fit. And if they're not a fit, it's an easy kind of plug and play aspect of getting people in. Or if something happens, like you had one of our Jacqueline that worked with you guys, she or her father passed away. She was on bereavement for a week. Well, you were able to get somebody in and take over exactly what her duties were, and there was no hiccup, no stop in getting things done and posting, which was just unheard of. Versus if I had to hire a full-time employee, they're gone for a week. Well, I got to find somebody else to get it done. You know what I mean? And I'm not as productive.
Yeah, let me add to that too. So you have brought up a very important part, right? So up the front end on your strategy session, exactly where we're at. You'll have a strategy session. If you say, yes, I'm interested, what happens in the background, of course, we're sourcing and recruiting, we're training, and then it goes to our placements team. So our placements team, what they'll do, they'll compile 3 individuals for you to get on an interview with. So for you, Scott, we got 3. You actually wanted to pick 2. You ended up picking 1. And you went back and you ended up hiring the other one. And then what happens then, as soon as you're with a VA match, we have what's called a client service manager that actually manages that relationship with you and the virtual assistant. Their job is to make sure that the VA sends in a start of day report and sends in an end of day report to you, because the main reason, a very, very important part of that is we want to make sure there's quality control, right? The VA does what you want them to do and hits the metrics that you set out for them. And also they play a big role in obviously the accounting, the compliance, if you need another virtual assistant, you connect with them, not the VA, and then we'll find you another virtual assistant, et cetera, et cetera. So they play a very good role, and they coach, they teach. If you want your virtual assistant to do another task, you could set up a call with our client service manager to let them know. You could set up a quick little video and then outsource it, and your CSM, which is our client service manager, can train them on that task being done. So again, it's a big, big, big rock lifted off your shoulders that we do on that side of it as well. So that's a good point. I totally forgot that side of it, Scott. That was really important.
Well, that's why we're having the masterclass with folks. That's what gets for having somebody who's used you and endorsed you, because I've been through that process a couple times. I've hired folks, and some people may not forget, because that's, I think, it's one of the biggest thing is training people. Oh, I got to train them on everything. Well, no, you don't necessarily, especially what we've done with you guys, especially like the IRA leads, the scrubbing, the calling of banks. We've literally recorded our training videos and given it to you guys to give to the VAs of our students, so they have that as a training video, so they're knowledgeable on that and they're up rocking and rolling, which is great. And like you said, the CSM, I didn't even, your CSMs are from the Philippines, but they're calling me. I'm like, where? Oh, you in Connecticut in Bob's office? No, I'm in over. I'm like, what? I didn't even, there's no accent. You know what I mean? There's not, it completely blew me away. I can understand this. This makes it easy versus the worst fears that we think about. This was such an easy way to do it. And then it's the picking, do you want them starting at 8 in the morning, or in the afternoons or off hours? What best works for you to do that too.
Yeah, they work your time zone. So we get that question too. That's a great point. I'm in the Eastern time zone. My VA is working Eastern. I also have some that work in Pacific Standard Time, wherever I'm doing, wherever we're cold calling, our managers will be there, whether, whatever task they're doing, West Coast. So we have each time zone is taken care of, and they work the hours that you want them to work.
Exactly. And then the daily reports of what they're focused on. And then if you have an issue, schedule a call. Hey, where do we need a little bit of training on our side? Say, hey, I need you to do this or tweak this a little bit or change this up. But it's not the same thing as like, oh, I hope they do, when you hire someone, I hope they do what I do as good as 60, 70%. It's better than that with REVA because they're doing this.
Yeah, and that's what we found. I mean, again, I use virtual assistants in my own business. So you saw the slide of how many we use, and we hire new ones every day. There's always something in this business to add on that's going to drive in a lot of revenue, rather than hiring. Again, I'm not saying don't hire anyone from the US, right? I'm not saying that at all, but you get what I'm saying. Us as solopreneurs, us as, smaller investors, etc., we only have so much money. Let's call it what it is to invest in internal staff. So virtual assistants play a huge role in all the tasks that we outsource to them. If I was going to hire 19 people in the United States, that'd be our overhead would be very high, and it would be tough to keep your head above water. That's just a fact. I mean, I'm sure some restaurants would love to outsource cooking or waiting tables to, to someone from the Philippines for sure, but they can't do it. They need to be in-house, right?
I have seen one where they have that little robot with a pad.
I saw that. I saw that.
You bring up a point though too. Labor is always one of the most expensive costs on here. And when besides just an hourly, then you're paying insurance and taxes, and then other, medical care, retirement accounts, all that. That's not on top of the $10.66 an hour. That's all handled by that, and what you guys are doing and working to bring the people in and really provide an awesome opportunity for them in the Philippines working for REVA Global.
Yep. It's I'll tell you, the industry right now, just as a whole, it's ripe for the pickings in any type of niche. So I think that all of us have to really embrace what we have, because there's players that left the business because they didn't want to learn. They didn't want to do what we're doing right now. They didn't want to evolve with the times. So that's the beauty. And I see it. I mean, you and I started in 2004, right? We went through some ups and downs. My father was a contractor. So he went through the bubble burst here, there's bubbles here. He went through a lot of ups and downs. And the individuals that are still here that made it through are the ones that invested back in themselves. That would listen to podcasts, that would work with coaches, that would work with companies that are doing it. So I think, I know we said this before, I look at the market, I see it as a huge opportunity for all of us.
Yeah, it totally is. You have the folks that, I hate to say this, in realtors, I call them the Betty Blue hairs that have been around. They do businesses old. We have that in the real estate space, folks that were doing business like it was the 1980s, the 1990s. Well, if you didn't evolve and get into the 21st century and realizing there's new tools and new ways to find deals and market, you did go out of business. You stopped being business and you had to go get a job for yourself. And if that's, once you've tasted freedom, that's a tough pill to swallow to have to go back to a 9-to-5.
Very tough.
And so if you're very tough and not a very happy camper most of the time. Sometimes you gotta do it, but the thing is here, if you're really wanting to make 2024 your most successful year, you want to make more money, you've got to do different things and do different things than you did last year. And part of that is you've got to take you out of the bottleneck of your business. It's either marketing, it's lead sourcing, it's follow-up. All that stuff, yes, it drives us bonkers. We don't necessarily want to do it. So do the things that you're good at, your superpower, and delegate the rest of some stuff to somebody that is going to be an expert at it, who's awesome at it, who's trained at it, and can really kick ass and be a true asset to your business in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. So you want us to give a snapshot of the...
Yeah, let's do a snapshot there for everybody to see a little bit some of the things that they can do. This is one of the great reports to download if you need a brainstorming tool to figure out what all can I have them do for 20 hours or 40 hours. And I'll tell you this, once you get them to 20 hours, you can get them at the 40 hours pretty fast because you see how valuable and what kind of work that they do.
Yep. Yeah, and that's a good point. Just what I do recommend, and Preston and I always do this, we recommend that just download it. It gives you different ideas, right? You're not going to do all 100, right? There's a lot in here that I personally don't need, but all of our clients use at least one of these for the clients that we have. And we'll obviously add to this as we go, as we add more clients. So as you can see, we have we broke it down: real estate investors, we have agents, and I'll go back to the top in a second. You got creative web, you have admin tasks, you have property management. So you have all of the tasks that we talked about and more, right? So obviously we look at real estate investors, which are wholesalers, fix and flip, landlords, etc. You have outbound calling, lead nurture, you have lead appointments, you got building cash buyers, private lenders. This is you could highlight, if you want to highlight some of the things, obviously, of building different types of lists. That's a very, very important part of, obviously, note investing, if you will, because without that, again, we need leads and private. Think about this. We never know who a private lender will be. We absolutely never know. I mean, you have no idea your neighbor right down the street. And some of them don't even know what we do, right? And without us having the branding side, we never knew that they would have been a potential investor with us into what we're looking to do. So again, we have to stay out there. We need those lists. We need branding. We need screening. We need appointment setting, right? Our job, again, is to close the business, to make the money and put it in our pocket. So that's just an example of that. I think there's a lot of real estate agents around, regular investors. I'm an agent. I don't use my license, Scott, but I am an agent. My real estate business partner, he's a broker. So we use more of his platform there. But for me, I'm a perfect example here. But these are some of the things that you can do if you're a real estate agent. Again, one of the things is getting feedback from. This is one of the things that you can use a VA for the note world too, the note investing, getting feedback. Feedback is huge. Appointment setting, again, transaction to close, listings, etc., etc. Anything else you want to touch upon here?
Well, you mentioned something good about being an agent. There's a lot of real estate agents leaving the business because they don't know how to market. There's a lot of loan officers, mortgage brokers leaving the industry because they don't know how to market. One of the best things, and I know that agents hate this, is cold calling expired listings or expired leads or calling it. You could put a VA to work to do that. You could put a VA work to scrubbing and pulling people that got a mortgage 10 years ago that didn't refinance in a low rate and have that as your outreach. There's so many things checking. We had Cindy Spearlin on, who's a tax lien investor. So she has them calling the counties to find tax liens that didn't sell that she could buy, but they do it. And that way, when she gets a list, she does it. Our buddy Cal Ewing out of Canada, he buys real estate in the United States here. He looks for tax overages here in Texas and uses a VA to pull those leads and another VA to scrub it. And then they give him a final list that he directs markets out to. And then they even handle the first phone call and the first discovery call with the individual, stuff like that. So creating, it's literally making it simple to do some things that you aren't getting done or you need to do more of. You can't afford to say, well, I'm no good at that. Well, you don't have to be good at it. You can hire somebody to do it. It's not the who, it's the how you get it done. You know what I mean?
Yep. And especially it's big on the referral management, because if you're trying to get more, if you're a broker, you're trying to get more agents in there. We have a lot of EXP agents that actually use it to recruit other agents, right? You can do it in any business. I'm just giving you an example of an EXP, and my buddy Chris Gercio out of California. So he uses VAs to do a lot of that side of it, as an example, just to piggyback of what you just said. Again, social media. We already went through a lot of this stuff, graphic designing. Preston did a great job, obviously, of showing what we do in our office. So just, rewind to that part and just copy it and just do it. And I'm sure you could schedule a call with Preston as well. He could walk you through exactly what we do. It'd be very, very beneficial there. He said outreach to podcast hosts. Anything you want to add here? Either one of you guys, Scott?
But I mean, we've used, I mean, with the AI and Chat GPT and Bear and stuff like that, you know, that's some of the things that we've helped our students with their VAs is to create, you know, follow-up letter campaigns or video topics or short articles and researching stuff, literally almost all automated and having somebody else handle who understands that and can put it all together, so that all you're doing is telling them to go do something and the finished product shows up. So
and we actually train our virtual assistants too to use Chat GPT. So it's a great way. It's a great way to do it and a great way for all of us to get content out there. So definitely keep that in mind. Administrative tasks we talked about, you know, calendar management, email management, a lot of you know, executive assistant stuff like hotel booking, online research, market research. A lot of us are very busy. We have a whole probably over 50 clients that use VAs just for executive assistant tasks, and this would be on this list. And obviously here's some more here: responding to emails, voicemails, KPI reporting, training more virtual assistants. When you start building, you'll realize that virtual assistants are great. Cream will rise to the top. So your top VA will come in and they'll be able to manage your other virtual assistants. This is what we see as a commonplace with many of our clients that build up a bunch of virtual assistants. Again, this is what we do in our business as well.
One of the things I was just thinking about something.
Yep.
One of the things we had when I used to travel a lot more, you know, I'd be out in the local REA club or a conference or some sort of event where I travel outside of Austin. I would use my VA to do a quick search to find investors in the area and get a postcard or letter out or text out, hey, I'm gonna be in your area, I'd love to meet with you. And we just schedule our own meetup at hotels, you know. Did that every time I was in part of Collective Genius Mastermind. Well, let's do a meetup anyway with other investors in the local area, and we'd have 20 to 50 other local folks. And now that's not only is it a write-off anyway, it's more write-offs because we're killing 2 or 3 birds with one stone and being effective in making that stuff happen, no matter where it was. So
yeah, good point there. And we also have I mean, this kind of triggered. We also have attorneys that use our service at the, you know, doing legal research and things like that, lemon laws and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of tasks. I know a lot of your listeners are in different parts of, you know, not only in real estate investing, they're in, you know, they're in medical, they're in law, they're in, you know, a lot of different marketing, etc. So a lot of different things to be able to do here. And then last but not least, we have property management, like we touched upon. I think we went over this slide pretty good, but this is the 100 task list. So please download it and obviously take it. It will give you some pretty good ideas on this. So
perfect. You want to share we got, brother? You want to share the QR code one more time with that slide so that people can book a call there? And I got it pulled up there.
There it is.
Yeah, scan that. You know, reglobal.com/notes, guys. Schedule a phone call. You can't go wrong. If this is something you want to accomplish, work on it. And maybe you and somebody else, you know, you split a full-time VA for a little while to understand the value in it to your partners or stuff like that. You want to get more done, you got to do it. And you know, we only got 24 hours in a day to make things happen. You might as well clone yourself, a little bit of yourself, to get the things done that need to get done that are getting swept under the rug for not being done. So
absolutely.
Cool. Anything else? Preston, Bob, that's the best way for people to go. REVAglobal.com/notes and use the QR code to book a call.
Yeah, that's it.
Get the download, book a call right on there.
Yep. And Scott, I just want to thank you, obviously, for allowing us to give back to your community and obviously all your students. And appreciate the time obviously you took with us. And if anyone needs anything, like we said, just reach out to us. We're all over the place, just like you. If you have any questions, just reach out to us and definitely start with here. But thank you again, Scott. Really, really appreciate this. And time is now. Start investing.
Exactly. And go make sure you check out the Pucks to Properties podcast as well.
That's right. Soon to be Pucks to Profits. I like that.
We had one of our VAs one time take all our 5-star reviews and create slides that became a social proof that we would share as well too, and all this stuff, getting recommendations, stuff like this. So
we actually had our VAs contact all of our clients too to get all Google reviews. So Google reviews are important. So that's another great task to outsource. So perfect. With that, thanks a lot, Scott.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Preston. Have a
Appreciate
great day. All right, guys and gals, that is going to wrap it up for this virtual assistant masterclass. Use the link there. Use the QR code. Book a call. Trust me, you will find value, and it would be one of the most valuable calls you do in growing your business, growing your wealth, growing your riches in the new year. So go out, take advantage of it, and we'll see you guys at the top.